a team that is on the wrong track, Dallas Cowboys. Let's hear from, before we do a post-mortem, because I feel like they're cooked at this point, but here's Jerry Jones on his current hopes for the team making the playoffs, plus the possibility that they will be making a trade or 2 or 3 today.
I thought that we'd make a better showing offensively tonight. I was surprised. I give them some credit. They were able to thwart what we had in mind as far as our offense is concerned. But I didn't plan on this. I hate it for everybody involved. We'll make decisions accordingly as we look at it tomorrow. I'm going to repeat it again. There is no trade. You can make as many trades as you want to between now and deadline tomorrow. Because we played tonight rather than Sunday, then I was able to the day before to say we'll see what happens the day of the day. We had the ability to look at this game. You asked me if it affects the trades. I don't really think so.
Now, that's a reference to Jerry saying earlier today that a trade is in place. We have a trade in place, and there may be more. That was part of his carnival barker routine yesterday before the game. And, look, hey, Ian, you don't have to see, a standout. Are you freaking kidding me? He's benched. He's benched, Ian. We see this all the time with these guys. Rappaport, Pelissero, Schefter, all of them. They throw in these gratuitous words to keep the flow of information coming. The Bengals are dealing standout linebacker Logan Wilson. Okay. A guy who can't stay on the field for the worst defense we've seen in years. All due respect. Let's be real here. He can't stay. He got benched by the worst defense in the National Football League. And you're going to put standout in the tweet? Good Lord. Anyway, do you think this helps the Cowboys?
No, not at all. I think the Cowboys know this doesn't help them. It's just something to do. Now, I will say this about Logan Wilson. 2 years ago, under Lou Anarumo, he was playing at a high level. He was playing, he was a good linebacker in the NFL. But, again, like you just said, no knock to Logan Wilson. He's never been like this game-changing linebacker. And maybe it's Al Golden's defense in Cincinnati. When I turned him on, he wasn't jumping off the film. He didn't look as productive as he's been. Now, I will say for the Cowboys, Kenneth Murray didn't look great last night. A couple of those play-action passes, he kind of got stuck, just like in what we call a no-cover zone, about 5-6 yards from the line of scrimmage, and cuts right behind him. So maybe they feel like, hey, this makes us a little bit better. But when you talk about, hey, does this guy take us from a non-playoff team to a playoff team? Is this like the thing on our defense? No, I think everyone knows the Cowboys are not one superstar defensive player away from making the playoffs. And, I know there was talks of even like a Trey Hendrickson coming in. And, I saw one of the conversations like, hey, Trey Hendrickson was on Cincinnati last year. They didn't make the playoffs, and they had as good of an offense that you could have in the NFL. So I just don't think there's a hope. I continue to say this. I was talking to somebody about the Buffalo and Kansas City game Sunday, and there was a key play where Josh Allen takes a sack, and they were like, oh, man, this is usually the play he makes, and then Mahomes comes back and wins. And I go, whoa. We can't ask guys on offense to play for the defense. Yes, he took a sack, but he took a sack instead of throwing an interception. The defense has to now go do its job. You look at the Bengals, you look at the Cowboys, this is why the best teams make the playoffs and win Super Bowls, because you have to have a full complementary team. And right now, there's no player that takes you from 30th, 31st, 32nd in the NFL and all of these statistics and takes you to top 5. It's just not going to happen. And that's the range they need to be in if they're going to be a playoff team. So right now they're going to do different things, I think, to keep the fan base somewhat engaged and happy. But ultimately you got about 3 or 4 weeks where now you're starting to plan summer vacation. You planning, hey, where are we going possibly right after the new year? This is what the Cowboys are going to work in, and their players are going to be able to plan some pretty good and lengthy vacations.
And Logan Wilson, hey, you wanted to be traded, buddy. As Gary points out, Logan Wilson just went from the Titanic to that piece of wood Jack is holding on to before Rose pushes his ass off. So now the Bengals defense is worse, but the Cowboys defense is right there. It's Bengals, Cowboys, and then it was the Steelers, but the Steelers at least, had a decent showing on Sunday against the Colts for a change. But the Bengals are historically bad. Like, they may allow the most points ever allowed in a single season, and their average defensive production is 426 yards per game allowed. They gave up 576 to the Bears, not the 99 Rams. No offense to the Bears, but this wasn't some high-powered offense, and they gave up 576 yards. So not great for Logan Wilson, and we'll see what else the Cowboys do. But Jerry was doing the whole thing yesterday. He was on Stephen A. Smith's show, and he was unnecessarily stirring up stuff with Micah Parsons, and then makes this big boast, and then admits what we all know. It's all for show. It's all for show. He likes to stir things up to get people to pay attention to the Cowboys. He likes to create controversy so people will be interested in the Cowboys. He's been saying that openly for a couple years now. The first time I noticed it, said it when he was testifying in that trial that was a massive verdict against the NFL, the Sunday ticket antitrust case, until a judge threw out the verdict. But he said, we try to be interesting. I want to be interesting. I don't care if fans of another team hate me. That's good for business. We want to be interesting. We want to be something people talk about. And he said that yesterday again. They want to be interesting. There's no substance there. It's all sizzle. It's all stuff to get people talking. And I don't know, maybe some people are motivated by that, but he's the first one to say it out loud repeatedly, and now we all know. I don't know that it's going to make people less interested in the Cowboys to understand the whole thing is a grift, but that's what he's admitting. This whole thing is a con job. It's a grift. He's going out of his way to make you interested in something that you should objectively not be interested in, especially based on the way they played last night. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.